morning and welcome to my kitchen. This is part 2 of everything but the turkey. So Christmas is just around the corner, literally just around the corner. We're getting very close now. Emily's getting very excited. The day by day, her giddiness increases. So last week we covered cocktails. Yes, lemon meringue pie martinis we did. We did a mulled fruit punch, we did roasted walnuts with truffle and parmesan, and we did a lovely little lobster tart as a starter. Now, we're on to the main course. We're getting stuck into the nitty-gritty now. This is the business end of Christmas, okay? I'm going to tell you what we're going to cover. We are going to cover stuffing, pigs in blankets, amazing pigs in blankets, roasted root vegetables, and ultimate roast potatoes today. And then next week, we're going to do the gravy. So important, the gravy, especially if you're in the north of England. And then we're going to do, what are we doing? We're doing dessert, eggnog tart, and mince pies next week. And I think Kerry from Max Out in the Lake District is actually going to join me in the kitchen, because if he gets a sniff of mince pies, he'll be here. But first, the main course. Right, now, pigs in blankets for me are amazing, but I wanted to elevate them, okay? So, what I've got here is some Cumberland sausage ring. Okay, so basically this is a thin sausage that hasn't been linked. Okay, and we've got some smoked bacon. Streaky. I like smoked. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. And then all we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around. So if you can't get Cumberland sausage ring...
You ruined, you caught my question early.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Emily. Let Emily ask the question.
If you can't get hold of Cumberland sausage ring, what can you use as an alternative?
Ask your butcher to not link some thin sausage, all right? Go see him, smile nicely, order your turkey if you haven't ordered it already, but ask him to do you some thin sausage and not link it. He won't mind, because it's one less job to do. But you could just do normal sausages. And not have them as one big link. So it's okay, it will still taste as good. But I live in the Lake District, and I nipped down to my local booze supermarket and got some lovely Cumberland sausage link from the butcher there. Some lovely Cumberland sausage ring. And I just thought it's a bit different. I mean, Cumberland sausage is good. It's got really good high meat content, it's well seasoned. You know, it's what we're known for up here, really. So, almost there. We see this all right, Emily?
Yeah.
So, you're getting quite excited, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, we are wrapped. Our pig has its blanket. Okay, and then let's roll the Cumberland sausage back up as we found it. Oh, look at this. Now, there we go.
See, if somebody just gave me that with some gravy, I'd be...
No, never mind the turkey.
Yeah.
Just have these for Christmas Day. So I've got a couple of skewers, only to hold it in place. Use whatever if you've got some metal skewers, use those, that's absolutely fine. So one in there, and that holds everything in place, okay? And then one in there.
I suppose you could almost use that as a starter as well, couldn't you?
Oh, Emily, that's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of every way I could get this into a meal on Christmas Day.
I know. So, right. All we need is, so I've got it on one of the Masterclass non-stick ceramic baking trays, so it'll crisp up lovely. We're going to cook these in the oven first, then we're going to finish them in the pan. So a little drizzle of oil, not a lot, because there's natural fats and things like that in there. And I'm not going to put any salt on, because it doesn't need it, because it's wrapped in bacon. Little bit of pepper, there we go, and they are going straight into the oven, this oven here. 185 degrees for about 15 minutes, okay? Right. Stuffing, all right? I would be more than happy if I had pigs and blankets and stuffing for my Christmas dinner. I'll be brutally honest with you. I have got a pan on the boil, just come up to the boil. So 10 minutes, I will boil my potatoes. Maris Pipers I've gone for. All-rounder, really good, nice and crispy, okay? But it's really important that once the water comes up to the boil, so potatoes in cold water, up to the boil for 10 minutes, drain, and we'll let them go really fluffy. So Emily, put me a timer on for 10 minutes.
Okie dokie.
Right, stuffing. So, I've got some onions. Now, put your paxo away, all right? I'm going to show you how to make it good and proper. All right? So, onions. Stuffing, me, I'd be happy with stuffing and pigs in blankets and gravy. I really would. But, right, so, onions nice and fine, okay?
What do you think makes a good stuffing?
Crispy bits.
Crispy
Bits.
Yeah.
I think it's got to have more than one texture going on for me. So ours is going to have prunes in it. It's going to have onions. It's going to have crispy bits. It's going to be amazing. Right, oil into the pan. All right, couple of tablespoons. Now, in with our onions. All right. The heat going. There we go. So. Get our onions cooking first. You can use red or white, it's entirely up to you. A sprinkle of salt and pepper. Now, herbs. Herbs are important for stuffing. I've got some fresh sage here. All right, so I've still got a little bit going on in the garden. If you can't find any fresh sage in the garden, use some dried, but be sparing because when it's dry, gets quite strong and intense because we've removed the water. So just bear that in mind. I've got a couple of bay leaves. I'm just going to chuck those in. 3, in fact. Basically, whatever's growing in the garden is nature's way of telling you those are the nice wintry flavours. So we've got rosemary, we've got bay, and we have got rosemary.
You've got sage. Sage
even, sorry. Sage. So it's a sage and onion stuffing base, which is a bit of a classic really, isn't it? It's like entry level, but in we go with our sage and our rosemary and our bay. Now, I've got some beautiful California prunes here. I work with California prunes, so I always use them. They're really delicious. They're just a dried plum. And then, because it's Christmas, a bit of brandy. There we go. This is coffee, not brandy.
If you didn't want to use an alcohol, you didn't have it in, and you didn't want to go and buy
Don't have to. A bit of clementine juice.
Yeah.
Got some clementines going on. Okay, so I'm just going to let those sit in the brandy, like Grandad does on Christmas Day, and just wallow in it. Once a year we get the brandy out for Grandad. Right, okay, so what's going to make mine a little bit different is that. You know what they are, Emily?
Gingerbread.
Who doesn't love a ginger biscuit?
Just a good all-round biscuit, aren't they? Can't not love a ginger nut.
Ginger, very Christmassy. So, our stuffing, sage, onion, ginger biscuits. We've got prunes soaked in brandy. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Right, so give that a little stir. So we're using the 4-litre shallow cast aluminium pan. All-rounder, this pan. It's absolutely my favourite, my go-to pan for most things. I use this all the time. I was in a retail store the other day talking to customers about these, and everyone was going for this one because they just use them for so much. Right, clementines. Get the zest in, and we'll add the juice in a minute. But we don't want to lose the zest because it's all flavour. All right, now the good thing about this is, as well, get this made now, ready for Christmas Day. And it's in the freezer and it's done. All right? There's no need to do everything on Christmas Day, in my opinion. So, cut your clementines in half, squeeze the juice in and chuck them in. We'll fish them out later. All right? Now, I wonder... Nah. I think we're just going to chop them all up. So, these are ginger snaps, we call them in this country. So, in the UK, so a nice crispy ginger biscuit. You could also use ginger cake if you wanted to. It's up to you. But I just wanted that kind of sweet, gingery, crunchy flavour, which is why I've gone for these.
If you didn't want to use the biscuits, would you use like a stem ginger?
Well, I'm going to, yeah, you could add a bit of ginger stem ginger, a bit of dried ginger crystallized. I just wanted that really nice, sweet, gingery flavour, and I just think it'll work really well. But you could, we're going to add breadcrumbs in a minute, so you could just go traditional and just go breadcrumbs, but we're going a little bit different. So I'm not going to crunch them too much. I want pieces of ginger in there, not just ginger crumb. Hang on. What I am going to do, my prunes, I'm going to add those in now. So I'm going to do them whole because I want people to come across. Brandy in as well. Let's not waste that. Don't tell Grandad. There we go. See, that to me already looks nice and Christmassy. Okay. In with some water. So there's a pint of water in there. And then we'll bring that up to the boil and we're going to add a stock cube for extra flavour. Ready? Yep. Okay, so I've got my stock in there. It's up to the boil now. Okay, and it's simmered for about 10 minutes. So until the onions are nice and soft. All the flavours have given out, all the herbs, and the orange zest or clementine zest in there. We've got brandy, we've got prunes in there. We are almost ready. Now, I've just got some breadcrumbs here, straightforward, bit of sourdough that I had left over, but just white or wholemeal breadcrumbs, it doesn't matter. And the idea is that the breadcrumbs absorb the water on the liquid that's in this pan, and it then becomes a stuffing. I mean, basically, stuffing's about making things go further, but we've taken it to the next level now, because it's making things taste good too. So, in with our ginger biscuits, all right? There we go. Ho, 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 ho. I am looking forward to this. I think there will be a stuffing sandwich to be had in this kitchen later. And then in with our breadcrumbs, okay? So you can see straight away it starts to thicken up. Yeah, the bread absorbs the moisture and swells up. Okay, now if you like a really soft stuffing, you don't want to add as much breadcrumbs, but if you want it sort of quite firm, you need to add a few more. You need to turn it into sort of a firm, much firmer, more solid stuffing. Okay, I'm going to switch the heat off now because it will catch otherwise. But that is almost ready for the oven. Okay, so the last little bit of breadcrumb. Now, if you have any questions at all about today's recipes, please post them in the messages below, in the comments below, and I will answer them as best I can.
For your potatoes, those.
There's the alarm for my potatoes. They have boiled for exactly 9 minutes. So, before we do anything else, because let's try and keep this real, all right? I've got my Space Saver jug, and it's got my colander in it ready, all right? So, let's grab a cloth, grab our potatoes, okay? And then we're just going to pour those through. Okay. Now, all that steam you want out of your potatoes, okay? So I'm just going to pour the water off. Let's get rid of the water. And then I can leave those in there to one side to get rid of all that steam. Let all that steam come out. 10 minutes. Get it all out, because the more steam that comes out of those, the fluffier and more delicious your potatoes will be. Right, back to stuffing, yeah?
Just push your potatoes out the way a little bit, Pete.
Yeah. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay, so I've got my brownie tin, which is perfect, I think, because it's got a good surface area. You could bake it in a loaf tin if you wanted to, but the bigger the tin, the more the surface area. The more the surface area, the more crispy bits you get. All right? So, I'm going to fish out my clementines. Pop those on there, because I forgot about them. And I dare say they'll be a bit chewy if you leave those in. They'll taste good, but to be fair, they've done their job. All right? Now, if you don't want, like prunes, you could use cranberries, you could use apricots, you could use sour cherries, you know, whatever dried fruit you fancy. Just gives you that sort of nice sweetness okay? But if you don't want the dried fruit, don't do it. Just do a nice gingerbread stuffing. That'd be all right, wouldn't it? Right, back of the spoon, press it down. Okay, there we go. Perfect, ready for the freezer or the oven. Now it's all right. Don't panic, it's not going in the freezer. I'm going to put it in the oven because we're going to have a taste of this in a minute. Okay, so little drizzle of olive oil gives us our crispy bits, all right? And then we'll put a little sprinkle of salt on the top. And that's it. That goes into the oven for an hour, okay? Right, roast potatoes. While they are steaming, look, they're still going, all right? Still getting rid of all that steam. As much as we can get out of there, we will. But while we do that, we need some oil in for our potatoes to get hot. Vegetable oil, okay? Don't waste your money using extra virgin olive oil to do potatoes. It's a waste of time, money, you know, you name it, okay? So, garlic. I'm going to take the garlic and cut it about a quarter of the top so it holds its shape, and pop it in. Cut side down on both sides, all right? I'm going to add a little bit of salt to my oil, and then some pepper, and then...
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, it's going in. It is going in. All right. I am a fan. And I'm going
I thought you were
full...
going to lick the spoon then, Pete.
I may well do that off camera. That is my secret. All right. Marmite, as some people, whoever knows me, will know, it is my desert island ingredient. Every day I eat this stuff. I love it. So, Marmite will just give the most incredible umami-ness to your roast potatoes, okay? If you don't like it, don't add it, all right? You could add miso to it if you wanted to. You could add a little bit more salt. I just love the stuff, and I wanted to add it to it. And when I grew up as a kid, my dad was in the military, and they always ate Marmite roast potatoes. All right, so let's preheat the oil. Okay. Get that nice and hot, and then the potatoes are going to go in there for about 45 to 50 minutes. Right. I like roasted root veggies more than boiled, okay? I just think they're easier to do, all right? You whack them all in the oven and it's done. But there's just a couple of things to think about when you're doing it. So parsnips cook really quick, all right? Much quicker than carrots. So I've peeled some parsnips here, all right? I've got some carrots, I've got red onion, which I love in there, and I've got a couple of sweet potatoes left over, all right? So I've got some garlic, I've got some thyme. So first, let's address the carrots.
Could we just watch your toppings, Pete? Your honey and things like that.
What do you want?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah?
Just want to see you chopping.
Right, so I'm just going to top the carrots off. Now, carrots for me, roasted, are lovely, but they do take much, much longer than the parsnips. So don't try and roast massive carrots. You can see these are quite small. I think roasting them, if you've got the oven space, is much better. You could, if you're having turkey, it could be resting while you roast your vegetables. And if you push for time, boil them the night before, drain them, and get the carrots cooked, and then whack them all in together. But I'm going to cut the carrots in half and then cut them sort of on an angle. Now, my dog Pip is right there watching my every move because she loves a carrot, but she's not allowed them at the moment, so... Are you? Hey? No. So, carrots nice and small, and they'll just get really sweet and lovely. Do you like roast veggies?
Yeah.
Like roast carrots.
Yeah.
I think they're much nicer than boiled.
Yeah.
So much more to go flavour-wise.
My grandma used to, she's about to say used to, she still does sometimes, but before she like roasted them or anything like that, boil them in orange juice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, carrot and orange goes well. Yeah, I get that. So, there's my carrots in. And hopefully, can you see those, Emily?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, sweet potatoes cook quite quick as well. So I'm going to leave them like that in decent size. Otherwise, they go to nothing.
Sometimes they can cook too far, can't they?
Yeah, they just got really squidgy.
Yeah, and
I think when you're doing roasted vegetables, you need to think about what's going to cook first, what's not. So I've got my garlic in, and then I'll squidge that out into it at the end. And then, can you see the onions here, Emily?
I can.
The core is on there, so they will hold their shape. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these in half.
Do you prefer red onions over white?
I do for this, yeah, because they're sweeter and milder. I think if you chucked white onions in, that's all you'd really taste. I've got some thyme from the windowsill, not the garden. I haven't got any in the garden. I bought a plant. Now, parsnips. That little one is going in whole. All right, as is that one. This one can go in half. So now we're almost about the same size. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Do you understand my logic?
I do.
Well, there you go. There's progress.
You've got good logic there, Pete.
Yeah, it's not often me and logic are in the same sentence, but there we go. And then this bad boy is a bit big, so we'll cut him. All right. I don't think you like parsnips, and I don't think you're allowed them. No. Okay, so they can go in. All right. So let's get some olive oil on there. A little bit, not too much. That'll do. Sprinkle of salt, because that will draw the moisture out and increase the sweetness, all right? And then some pepper. All right, let's roast all that together. Now, my little secret ingredient, a bit of miso paste, all right? This is doing exactly the same as the Marmite is doing on the roast potatoes. It's giving us, that's all very sweet. This will give us a little bit of savoury hit, all right? So, teaspoon, maybe 2, I think, of miso. And that's red miso paste. You could use yellow as well, it doesn't matter. All right, and just give that a good mix. Make sure everything gets coated. I mean, just look at that. That looks lovely. It looks amazing. Okay, and at the end, we're going to finish this with a little bit of honey and some sherry vinegar, just to get the balance right. So it's almost like a warm dressing on these to get the counterbalance. But they're going to go in the oven. They're going to take about 45 minutes as well. So about the same time as the potatoes when they go in. Okay? All right, look at this oil. It's got all the Marmites kind of melted in there. And that's just going to hit the potato. Oh, it's going to be so good. Right, okay, so potatoes are drained. Put them into the jug. And then just give them a good shake, all right? And that's going to fluff up the edges. And then they go in, all right? Lovely.
Oh, just got to hit a Marmite then.
See, I've converted her. Right, before we put these in the oven, let's just take a little bit of time to turn these potatoes over. And look, you can see the ones that have hit the Marmite already, you know they are going to be beautiful once they have roasted up. So the oil is hot. I'm just turning the potatoes very carefully so they get the top of them is in the Marmite. I mean, look at that one. Oh, that one's got my name on it there.
I'll fight you for that one.
If you don't like Marmite, trust me, please.
Yeah.
They are so good.
I didn't like Marmite, did I? I know I have a jar at home.
There you go. Are Marmite roast potatoes going to be a thing in your house this Christmas,
I
Emily?
have a feeling that there might be.
You're going to have to do it quietly though, aren't you? Because you
say,
are not in a house of Marmite
I
lovers.
say, I might have to do a little portion for myself.
Granny Gray, don't listen, all right? They're going back into the oven, 45 minutes, 180, until they are super crispy and lovely. Right. Oh, let's have a look at the most amazing pigs in blankets. I mean, look at that. Oh, they look good, don't they? Hey? Liking the idea of these, aren't you?
They look pretty. Rather than sometimes when you get the little ones, they unwrap themselves from their blankets and they just...
Right, let's get a pan on the heat first. Now, bear with me. We're going to serve these with pickled grapes and honey. Now, we've done this a few times, and love it. Now, I've got some grapes here and I've got some red wine vinegar. And the idea is that this is rich and salty and crispy and yummy. Tangy, sweet, fruity, with salty, rich and crispy. It's gonna work, I promise. So red wine vinegar in, okay? And go to masterclass.co for the recipes, all right? Or scan the QR code on the bottom. It will take you to the website. That's where we put all our recipes. This is episode 53. So there are tons of recipes out there. And then we've got loads more plans for next year. So we will be doing multiple series next year, following different themes. We'll be cooking all the time, hanging out with all you guys. It will be great. So please do share the link for the show with your friends and let people know what we're doing, because we want to grow the audience all over the world. We have viewers all over the world already, which is amazing. So thank you for that. And thank you to our sponsors, Masterclass, for helping us make this program. Masterclass create all the products that I use in my kitchen. So I get to try them out, test them, make sure they work really well, and I pair them up with recipes all year long. So, can we cut into that, Emily?
We can.
Good. Right, vinegar is boiling, okay? Grapes are in. Now, the idea is to not cook them, just to let the skins break and release the sweetness, all right? And the idea is that they will just counterbalance these lovely, rich, delicious pigs in blankets, all right? So, let's just have a quick look. I could just start to see some of the grapes just starting to burst there, which is good. That's what we want. Now, I actually have some pickled grapes made up, all right? I made these probably last year, and they've sat for a year in the vinegar, ready to go. So you can make plenty. They're amazing with cheese. So they're worth doing some few extras for. Okay, so let's just get a dish. Now, if you have some guests coming who aren't quite as brave or don't get me, serve them on the side if you want, but they are really good, I promise you. So that is pickled enough, just starting to soften a little bit. I'm going to pop those into a jug, into a bowl, and then I'm going to get this pan back on the heat. Okay? Because if I don't make these for Emily to try, there's going to be a riot and she won't press the red button. All right? Okay, so.
Smells good.
They're good, aren't they? They're just still.
Still got that texture.
You want to try one?
Bring me on.
Try one on their own. Can't reach, can you? There you go. Have a try. See what you think. Different on their own. They're like a really sort of sharp grape.
I can see how they go nice with cheese though as well.
Yeah, definitely with cheese. Rich, strong, powerful cheeses, particularly soft cheeses. Yeah. You know, like a brie that's quite sort of rich on the palate. That will counter it really nicely. Right, pan is just onto smoke. So let's put a couple in so that you can see.
Oh, look at that.
It's just good, isn't it? Okay.
I'm telling you, this could make a fantastic starter and then an appearance on your main.
I would suggest you make more of these than you need, because Christmas Day afternoon, evening.
Yeah, exactly. You always go back for more.
So, let's just get them crispy, all right? You could grill them if you want to and cook them all the way in the oven. But I wanted to cook them in the pan so I can show you when you add the grapes and the honey and, oh, it'd be fab. Right, just on the heat here, on the side, you can't see this, I've got my sprouts on. I'm going to show you how to pimp your sprouts, all right? Here we go. Almost there. Yeah. Nice.
Oh.
They look good, don't they?
Yeah.
It's going to be goodness sandwich, that.
Oh, don't. Oh, God.
You can have your turkey. I'm on these.
That's why we're doing everything but the turkey.
Yeah, we don't need the turkey. Right. Okay, so let's find... Where did I put my grapes? Oh, you had them.
I had them.
Hang on. I might have known. Right, grapes in. And a little bit of that vinegar.
Oh, it just gets better, doesn't it?
And honey. There we go.
Just pass me the pan once you're done with them.
A few bay leaves, since it's Christmas, that'd be nice. Some sage, because it's pork, isn't it? There we go.
And that's the thing with things like this, you can, like at Christmas, there's so many flavours that you can have.
Yeah.
And they all still go together.
Look at that. That just looks fab, doesn't it?
I'm so hungry now.
Gonna wait till Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas is too far away now.
Okay, a little bit of thyme in there as well. All I'm going to do now is just reduce that vinegar and the honey together so that we end up with a really sweet, sort of tangy dressing. It's almost a little bit brown saucy, you know, where it's like fruity and tangy. It's going to be good, really good. Right. Ooh. Okay. So, potatoes roasting beautifully, stuffing is browning off nicely. We have just enough time to do our sprouts. Okay, so let's take our sausage. The ultimate pigs in blanket, this, isn't it? And can you see now, Emily, just see the way everything's just sort of, it's almost like a chutney.
Yeah.
Good thing as well, it'll just all go in the oven. You could do it all in the oven and just let it all syrup up together. All right. They're serious pigs in blankets, those. Now, I didn't realise pigs in blankets are different in America.
Oh.
They're sausage rolls.
Oh.
But to us, sausage rolls is wrapped in pastry.
Yeah.
Pigs in blankets are sausage rolls in America.
Oh.
I don't know what pigs in blanket, I don't know what they are. If you know, and you're from America, please let me know what you would call those. Because unless I'm wrong, pigs in blankets are a sausage roll in America, not sausages wrapped in bacon. Anyway, please post your comments below. That would really help me because these things keep me awake at night. It would be nice to know. Right, sprouts just coming up to boil, okay? So, there was a request from a colleague of mine who isn't very well at the moment, so please, my best wishes to him. I hope you are recovering really well and I'll see you soon. What we're going to get is, he asked me if I could really pimp up the Brussels sprout, and I said, whoa, you bet I can. Okay, so, while the sprouts are cooking, okay, we're going to got shallots. So nice, sweet, mild onion flavour. Okay, and we're going to slice these up. I do hope this recipe is all you want it to be, Nick. All right, so a couple of shallots. The good thing about this recipe as well is you can get all this ready. It takes exactly the same time as it takes to boil those sprouts. All right, till they're just sort of tender. Now, all you grannies out there that cook them for about 3 hours, no. They want about 10 minutes, that's it. All right, treat them like a tender cabbage. I've got some garlic as well.
Oh, so
All right. So we've got shallots and garlic. In our pan is a little bit of olive oil. Okay. Just enough to get all this going because we're going to add some butter to this as well. All right. So in that goes.
Is it a thing that you need to use shallots for, or can you?
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, if you absolutely couldn't get shallots, use a red onion. Don't use a white onion. It's too strong. A little bit of salt, not a lot. Only enough to draw the moisture out of the shallots because anchovy. Yeah. So, you like Brussels sprouts with pancetta, don't you?
Yes.
Pancetta is bacon. Bacon is salty. Anchovies are salty. What are your thoughts? Tell me.
I shall have to taste test
You'll have to taste test, will you?
once they're ready.
Right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 salted anchovies. I will save the rest of those for a little pizza when on a bagel or something for lunch. So, anchovies straight into the pan. They will melt away. All right. So you see that salt straight away has drawn out the moisture. Be ashamed to put Brussels sprouts in these, really. Right. Just as they're now starting to soften, we're going to add in about 80 grams of butter.
It's Christmas after all.
It is Christmas. Emily's aversion to butter has gone now because it's Christmas. But we're actually going to make a bit of a dressing with this, so don't worry. All right? So the idea is that we're getting all those flavours kind of melting together. And you can get this done the night before if you want to as well, no problem. Just pop it into a container and then it's ready to go with your sprouts. Okay, so Worcestershire sauce, or Worcestershire sauce, some people will call it. Again, it's actually made with anchovies, so it's...
Is it really?
Yeah, it's made with anchovies, various other things, vinegars and spices and all sorts. It is lovely. I mean, to me, it's cheese on toast. Or on a jacket potato with melted cheese.
I think that's when I first tried it.
Love it. Love it. So, I'm actually going to hang on to that for our sprouts. Now, my sprouts are cooked enough. See, they are still green. All right?
And not like that.
They're not khaki. They don't look like Action Man. They are nice. You know, there's no brown there. I'm actually going to pour the water away, which is a great use for this jug, because I can just let the steam out. I've got 5 minutes there while everything happens here.
Well, that smells really nice, actually.
Anchovies, butter, shallots, garlic, Worcestershire sauce. All right, plenty of. Don't be shy with the Worcester sauce, in my opinion. There we go. Right. You could do this all year long with cabbage. You know, add some pasta into it, make a nice pasta dish. Okay, so in with your sprouts.
Well,
There
they
we
are
go.
green, aren't they? They are green.
They are still green, yes. Still green. I'm going to add a little touch of vinegar. Just a little, like maybe a teaspoon. And that will give me some acidity, all right? And now, we've got some sprouts, I think, that taste really good. Okay? Give them a little stir. And there you go. They are my sprouts with anchovy, shallot, and garlic butter sauce. Okay. Lovely. Turn that off.
Christmas feast coming together in
It's getting there, isn't it?
hours.
It's getting there. Right. Let's have a quick update on our roasties.
Oh.
Okay.
We've all been waiting for.
Oh, we need another little turn. Okay. Look good, don't they? Hey? What can I say? I feel like this one right here, Emily, is going to be a good one to turn over. Can you see that one?
I can.
It's going to be a good one. Look at that, hey? So rather than just oil and crispiness, we've got that kind of depth of flavour. Oh, look at that one. Oh.
It's getting better. Each potato that you turn is getting better.
It's like your children. You can't decide which one's your favourite. So there you go. Look, they've all got lovely little bits of Dad, don't worry, on Christmas Day I'll make these. I know you don't get them often. I'll make them. Look at that, lovely. They're going back in the oven, get nice and crispy. I'll be back when they're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, roast potatoes time and stuffing. So, here is our gingerbread, prune and brandy stuffing. Oh my goodness. You don't need the turkey. There we go. Right, roast these. So, these are my epic, look, oh, just look at those, Emily. They are a thing of beauty.
Need like an angel light shining on them, don't
I do. Yes, they are just a thing of beauty.
Aren't they just?
I'm proud of those. Right, let's pop those to one side, I think. Let's just pop those on there. Is that all right there, Emily?
Yeah.
You happy with that? Yeah. Right, root vegetables. One last thing to do on these. Okay, so let's get these out of the oven. Right, now look at those beauties. They look good, don't they? Really good. Let's get that straight onto the hob. Okay, because I just want to finish it with 2 more ingredients. A little bit of honey, okay? Just to kind of make a nice sort of sweet, delicious glaze, all right? So a couple of tablespoons of honey on there, and then a few splashes of sherry vinegar, okay? So put your thumb over the top and just, like you do in your fish and chips, all right? And that, you don't want them doused in vinegar, but just a little bit will mean that they're sweet and they're tangy and they're lovely. All in one delicious go. I mean, look at that. They look good as well. See, why would you boil them when you can roast them?
Yeah, that's true.
Good, huh? Look, I'm going to get rid of that.
See, there's your Christmas dinner sausage.
There we go. So, let's recap. We have made the most incredible pigs in blankets with pickled grapes and honey. We have made ginger biscuits stuffing with prunes, soaked in brandy. We've made Marmite roast potatoes, you know you want to. And then we've made some root vegetables, all roasted and glazed with sherry vinegar and honey. We've got Brussels sprouts with anchovies, garlic, shallots and butter glaze. So everything you need but the turkey. I haven't forgotten gravy. Don't worry, that'll be next week. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Masterclass for helping support us to make this show. If you want any of these recipes, go to masterclass.co or scan the QR code on the bottom. You will find them on their website. Next week we'll be back. We will do dessert, but before we do that, I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing gravy all before Christmas dinner, so there's no mad panic right at the end. But thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.